Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Global Happenings today. Indeed, strange things are happening in Nigeria. I guess even all over the world, but in Nigeria, it's quite unique. In this news, you're going to hear some of the impossible things, but then when you listen to it to the end, you will not understand why it's not totally impossible. But definitely the truth emerged, it unfolded. Before we go into the newspaper, to find out the dynamics of what exactly happened around here, I'd like you to subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button. Beside it, you see bell notification icon. Please go ahead, click on it to get notified as soon as we update our channel on YouTube. Well, a drama unfolded in Osun as operatives of the Nigerian police, Department of State Security Services (DSS) and the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps (NSCDC) reportedly engaged each other in what is said to be a supremacy struggle. The three agencies were said to have been at each other's head at loggerheads for a while now in the state, causing panic among residents. The lingering disharmony among the security outfit took a new twist recently after Olawale Olukode, the State Commissioner of Police, paraded some suspect over alleged kidnapping. It is understood that one of the suspects had accused the NSCDC and the DSS of connivance in kidnapping, thereby compounding the whole matter. The suspect, identified as Akim Ogunibi, who was paraded by the police for alleged kidnapping, was said to have fingered NSCDC personnel and DSS operatives in the kidnap of a Bureau de Change operator Malambala. A security source told the Sun newspaper that the police commissioner arrested and detained the accused officers without informing the sister agencies. It was later gathered that the commandant of the NSCDC and the state director of DSS made extra effort, only to discover that their officers were locked up and their mobile phones seized by the police. A security source said the refusal of the CP to inform the sister agencies infuriated the NCDC and DSS, and they perceived the action of the police as deliberate. The source said the police had always been in a haste to parade suspects without conducting an investigation on allegations against them. Meanwhile, it was gathered that Bala, who was said to have been kidnapped, was actually arrested by the security men over a business transaction. Have you not seen? The Sun also gathered that the suspect, that's the Sun newspaper, also gathered that the suspect, Ogunibi, was a customer who had gone to challenge Bala for undermining his brother who sold a gold chain to him. Ogunibi was said to have invited the security agencies to arrest Bala, an allegation purportedly turned to kidnapping. Sources quoted Bala as saying, when the security men, one of them in NSDC, DC, that's the NSDC, that's a civil defense uniform. He said when one of them in civil defense uniform came to Sabo, they said, "You are under arrest." Effort to speak with Bala proved futile as he was said to have left the state, having discovered that the matter had caused crisis between the security agencies. See trouble. His mobile phone has been switched off since. When contacted, the commandant of the NCDC, Emmanuel Ocheja, refused to comment on the incident, saying necessary step is being taken. Though it was gathered that the officers detained had been released, Ogunibi was yet to meet with the bail condition. But the police public relations officer, Yemisi Okpaolola, said the police informed NSDC and DSS and their bosses came to the command's office. She said, "There's no way their bosses would have known if we didn't inform them. When a suspect is first arrested, you may not know the person he or she is because it is not written on the head and the person is not in uniform. When the person is arrested and he didn't wear uniform, to where he went to commit the offense. Nobody will know who he is. It is during investigation that we will now know who he is or who they are. Also, when a person is arrested for an offense, he may want to hide his identity. They may not contact their officers at that time. So, nobody can allege the police on that because the police can take anybody. This is strong. Now, the whole issue now boils down on this Bala Mohammed guy. And the person, the senior person, the person behind the whole character, have absconded. He has run away from the state, and switched off his phone, having discovered that the hanky-panky he played is now causing issue. Just a little patience of investigation. Now you can imagine. Now the police is now telling and in fact, in this whole thing, technically speaking, I really don't blame the security agencies. They were informed. They went ahead based on information or reliable information or tips they got. They went ahead and did the arrest based on even what the CP said. But the whole person who played the play after this whole thing, the Bala Mohammed guy, who is the center of his own, why would he say that an arrest is not kidnap? You know why these guys had to react this way? Because in Imo State, and I feel the dramas like this, before it will escalate and become public knowledge. In Imo State, when Uche Wonsu's matter came up, the guy went on social media and mentioned how he was kidnapped instead of arrested. It was the police that came and said, look, he was never kidnapped. He was actually arrested because there are some allegations against him in their custody, of which they arrested. A lot of people question a lot of things. But going forward, looking at what has happened to Bala, or looking at the center stage Bala played, you just found out that Bala just successfully, hit the whole security agency's head. It was because if he had done something wrong based on information, you change someone, you did someone against, you did business transaction gone wrong, and they arrested you, why would you quickly go to social media or go about telling everybody that you were actually kidnapped? Now, what kind of tension are you trying to raise? Thank God for those who decided to do their own due diligence and due checks and found out that they were not the person was in question was not even kidnapped, was arrested. Now that's to tell you, sometimes some persons, these guys, they're human beings. So I'm not supporting them. I'm not against them. I'm only saying sometimes you can imagine what has happened. Where now, if it was a neutral person, now they will say, "Oh, can you imagine? Police too are into this." Now, further investigation, I found out that was actually a transaction gone wrong, of which the best person to still call will still be the security agencies to put calm to the situation. This is really serious. We really need to go on into deeper investigations before accusing people wrong with that personal.